What's up, MLBCommit fam? We're here. Basically, I had a really interesting question come up from one of my commenters. They asked me, "Who is your GOAT?" GOAT obviously stands for greatest of all time. This is a really interesting question that really made me think. I'm pretty sure they were asking about sports, but my first answer was Jesus. I know it's corny, but it's true. Just reading of who he was like and who he was, even if you don't believe that, he was the son of God, even if you don't believe any of that, him as a historical figure, hearing what he did, hearing how he lived his life is really impressive. Even if you're just reading the stories, not believing, like, even as he's being murdered by the same people who cheered when he entered the city, like, he screams out, like, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Like, he's literally dying. Like, I think that's the last thing he ever said until he died. He rose again. So, like, the last thing he said before he came back after the 3 days was forgive them, for they know not what they do. Again, to the exact same crowd that was like, oh, he's here, like, he's here, our savior, is the same crowd who's like, freaking kill that dude, forget the other guy who was a murderer, confirmed murderer, by the way. They chose to let him go over Jesus. So it's like, knowing how he fought through so much. He lived 30 years unknown, but he knew exactly what he was going to do. He got 3 years of ministry, impacted a ton of people, and then left, died, rose again, came back to visit a few people, and then, went up to heaven. But just reading, again, who he was, how he acted, what he did, like, how in the world do you go for 30 years unknown, but like, you're going to save the world. Like, he knows that from the day he's born to when he goes to the cross. Like, he knows, like, I'm going to save the world. Yet for 30 years, like, he's not going to do anything. And even when he performs his first miracle, his mom, Mary, asked him to do it. And he's like, no, it's not my time. I can't do it. And it's like, he has so much power. Like, how many hurt people do you think he saw? How many blind people? How many, lame people? How many, what are they called? Oh, lepers. Like, how many people of that, like, disease thought, like, hey, here's this guy, I hope he can help me, and not realizing, like, that dude can literally save your life. And Jesus had to walk by all those people and not do anything. Now, he might have, I don't know, it's not, in the Bible, but, for 30 years, like, that'd be pretty hard to do. But he fought through it all. And he said, even in the garden, he was like, Lord, if you can take this cup from me, please do. He didn't want to die. Nobody wants to die. He knew he was going to be brutally tortured and then killed. But even as he's like, if you can, please do. But if you can't, like, I'm here for it. Like, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to go through it all. So that's definitely why he's just, in my opinion, the greatest of all time. Now, I am a Christian. I do believe he rose again. I do believe he was the Son of Man. Like, he is, I could go on for so much longer about how he is the greatest of all time. But that's, for just, even if you don't believe, like, that's my explanation for it. Now, and what I was thinking, he was asking, like, sports wise, like, who do you look up to? Is definitely Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant. Now, starting off with Tom Brady, like, he was not just unknown, but massively doubted. Like, nobody knew or really cared who he was. But then, like, one of my favorite videos is the clip of where they're like, have you seen your draft report? Like, have you seen what they said about you? And it's just, I mean, all terrible things are like, he's slow, he's skinny, he's not, like, quick to throw, he doesn't have good arm strength, like, all these things where it's just, I mean, dogging on him. Nobody cares who he is. But he was so confident. Like, he walked up and he was like, I'm the best decision you've ever made. Like, who says that? If anybody ever says that, they're like, are you freaking prideful prick? Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Yeah, he walked up there and he was like, I'm literally the best decision you've ever made. And the dude is like, okay. They go on to draft more quarterbacks. They drafted quarterbacks before him and after him, I'm pretty sure. Like, they did not believe in this guy. But he continued to grind and grind and grind. And now he's not just, like, he's not just one of the greatest football players, but he's just one of the greatest athletes, period. Like, it's really funny, but he has a higher percent chance of going to the Super Bowl than Steph Curry does at making a three. Like, that's insane. That's wild. I think he made the Super Bowl 10 out of 21 years. So that's almost 50%. I think it's like 49 point something. So that's so insane. But it's only because he didn't listen to everybody. He just did what he knew he needed to do and kept working even when nobody else cared. When nobody else was around, when nobody else was thinking about him, when nobody else even cared about him, he continued to work day in and day out. So that's why he's that type of GOAT for me. Now, Kobe Bryant, I thought he's really interesting because one of the things about him, in his first year ever playing basketball, he didn't score a single point. And so that's so insane to me. But then, he goes on and he practices so, not just so much, but so intentionally too. He planned his day to where he knew, like, everybody works out twice a day. Like, that's just how it goes. So he was like, if I wake up earlier, I can work out 4 times a day. And if I can work out 4 times a day, that means I'm doubling their work every day. But then I'm going to do it more intentionally. I'm going to get there before you and I'm going to stay after you. So that way, not only am I doubling your work, but I'm being more specific about it. And so and this is one thing he said, he's like, I'm going to work so hard that one day I pass them. And even if they start doing what I'm doing, they're never going to catch me. And it's really interesting. But he also talks a lot about mentality. This is why he's one of the GOATs for me. I even have one of his books. I think I have actually multiple of his books. Because there's a different mindset that he has to be in to separate who he is on the court and who he is off the court. Because those two don't align. And because those two don't align, he has to make an adjustment. I'm a very chill, relaxed, laid-back person. And that does not work for me on the field. It doesn't work for me to be relaxed because I get lazy. I stop paying attention. I stop being so aware. I stop being, proactive. I become reactive. So I have to switch my mentality to be more aggressive on the field, whether that's being louder, whether that's just being more active, being more energetic, and stuff like that. So I'm very animated on the mound because that's the mindset that I have to be in for me to be at my top performance. What's crazy is Kobe Bryant talks about that all the time. Mamba mentality is very famous. So, I've had to develop mine and try to see, who can I be, what represents me, or what do I need to be in, all these sort of things. But also, he did it, and this is why. He's in competition, we'll say, for the greatest of all time in basketball. The other two are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. They're better than Hall of Famers. Like, they're legendary players. Like, their names will never be forgotten and always will be in competition. So throwing Kobe Bryant in there, which a lot of NBA players do, was really interesting. And you have to look at why. And one of the NBA players' reasons why was not just because of what he did, because he did a lot of what Michael Jordan and LeBron James did, but the thing is, he did it in a smaller frame, which was really interesting. LeBron James and Michael Jordan are both really big people. Kobe Bryant, while still being bigger, obviously he was a basketball player, he wasn't huge. So being able to do everything that they did in a smaller frame, that really spoke to me a lot because I'm 5'9", 5'8" currently. And, everybody else on my baseball team is, 6 foot. They're always talking about that. Even some of my friends who aren't athletes over 6 foot, they just do stuff, I even know a guy who's playing for Team USA for rugby, and, he's tall, he's lean, he's fast, he's good, he's young. And so it's really hard for me as an older, athlete, 17, and then being shorter on that hand to where it's dang, I feel so set back. When it's no, maximize what you have, maximize who you are, maximize what you're doing and what's available to you, and you'll be just as good as everybody else. So that's definitely one of the reasons why Kobe Bryant is my GOAT and why I look up to him so much. So it's very interesting to see who Tom Brady is and who Kobe Bryant is, And how does even Jesus Christ, like, how do they all three match up? And how do they represent areas of my life? And how do I put it all together? So it was a really good question. I really enjoyed thinking through it. It made me think through it a lot. And I was like, who really is, my GOAT? Also, I'm just now thinking about this. If it was just asking, like, who's the greatest of all time in baseball, uh, it's Shohei Ohtani, hands down. It's not Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth doesn't even come close. One, his home run record been broken by multiple people. Two, he wasn't a two-way player. He switched so that he could hit more home runs in either left or right field. So he's not even close. If you put him in today's game, he wouldn't be able to compete, versus if you put anybody in today's game back then, they'd be able to compete and be greater than they are now because of how easy it was back then. Well, I shouldn't say that. It wasn't easy. Sports at any age isn't easy, but you know what I mean. For their skill level, it'd be simple to them. Versus Shohei Ohtani right now, in the hardest the sport has ever been, is not only winning MVPs as a DH, which has never been done before, but he's freaking mashing home runs, has a great average, and is a speed threat. He's 6'5", but then he also pitches. He has great pitches. He can touch triple digits. He's a starter, so he can go 6 innings like regularly doing that. Of course, they're working him up with his shoulder, but it's not even close. And I hate hearing that Babe Ruth is a GOAT. No, he's famous. He's a legendary player, but he's nowhere near the GOAT. Like, there's so many, like, even some of Shohei's teammates, Freddie Freeman, arguably is not really, but he's definitely going to be a Hall of Famer. Mookie Betts is arguably one of the greatest players of all time. I mean, freaking stud defender in right field, and then just easily moves to shortstop. He hasn't been the best there, but he's adjusting to it. It's one of, if not the hardest position in baseball. They rely on you so much. So it's like, man, it's not a comparison. I mean, it's Shohei Ohtani, hands down. If not, you could possibly go with someone like maybe Aaron Judge. His defense isn't the greatest. He just had a game yesterday. I'm filming this on the 12th of July. And so yesterday, July 11th, he had like a game with like 2 great plays, but like he isn't like a massive speed threat. Like if he's on first base, you're not gonna like be careful and see if he's gonna steal. He's a bigger guy, so it's harder for him to run, but he's still really good. I mean, he has a great WAR. I mean, he's awesome. So he's in competition. If you want to go that route, like, there's just so many better guys. So in my opinion, the GOAT of baseball is Shohei Ohtani, hands down, not even an argument. So there's that. Other than that, that's my GOATs. Life, sports, and baseball. So, and if you do ask me who the GOAT of basketball is, I am going to say Kobe Bryant. That's 100% bias, in my opinion. He's the 2. I do think Michael Jordan is better than LeBron. Argue it out in the comments. Other than that, really don't know much about sports. So, awesome. I will see y'all. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Wait for the series coming up. I'm filming in batches, so I don't know when I'll be able to release it all, but basically I film for a week and then put it all together again, uncut. I'm not editing any of this, so thank you for watching. I'll see y'all later.